All right, this is a Fisker. Not many of you have seen these. The Karma ES. Yes, that's a solar roof. And we're doing the air conditioning on this one. I was in a body shop accident, so it got stuff all replaced in the front. New condenser on there. And this was at a body shop and, you know, left open to the atmosphere for a long time. So I'm actually just gonna leave this one on the vacuum pump for a while. I'm gonna go off and do a couple jobs for a few hours, and I'll come back to this one after a few hours and charge it up then. But right now I'm trying to remove as much moisture as I humanly possibly can, and just leave it on the vacuum pump and let the vacuum pump do its job. It won't remove everything, but at least it will reduce the quantity of moisture that has been contaminated into the POE oil, because this has like the electric Prius compressor on it, and it has two expansion valves. It has one expansion valve for the passenger compartment, and it has one expansion valve right there for the plate heat exchanger. So that's going into a plate heat exchanger right there. You can see it. See that right there? That's a plate heat exchanger. And that is to cool off the glycol loop that goes through the battery pack. And the battery pack is that large center console. So on these Fiskers, this big center console is all filled with batteries going all the way to the back of the vehicle. And that's what we have in this case right here. There's a whole battery module there. And I think this one's not, no, you can't see it from underneath, but this plate all down the center there, you see that whole plate drops out to drop the battery pack out. And I don't know if we could see the glycol loop on this one from underneath. Okay, let's see, there's some refrigerant lines. There is the solenoid to control the refrigerant flow. Right where you see the tip of my finger in the shadow, that's your standard solenoid that you would see in refrigeration in a supermarket, on your little walk-in box or anything like that. Right there, that's your standard solenoid controlling the flow of refrigerant to that expansion valve on the plate heat exchanger up above. Then it goes into the glycol loop, and the glycol loop feeds the lines going all the way back, and the chilled water runs through and in between the batteries on aluminum plates. Just like big tubes like in a micro channel, but think of a giant micro channel. And the batteries literally lay right on top of it with heat sink putty. And that is how the Fisker cools off its batteries using the air conditioning system. All right, be back on this one.